Let me start by saying, you have spoken good words about me, so I'm reminded of someone asked a question to Gandhiji that who is a great person? The reply of Gandhi was very precise. The person who makes me feel I am also great, he or she is a great person. So thank you very much, that. Let me try to slightly heighten the whole debate, that. And I'm reminded of Chanakya and Buddha, who made a very powerful statement. It's a context that determines the meaning of action, strategy, and words. So let me try to contextualize, that, because contextualization is very important. And I'm contextualizing beyond Corona, that, because we are too much hooked by Corona, because Corona I see as a great opportunity. This problem provides opportunity. Great leaders see the problems as opportunity, but those who are not the great leaders, they see the opportunity as a problem. So I make the difference between the two. Let me try to find out where India is and what are the challenges before India. But before I come to India, I was doing some kind of work. In 1995, I saw the list of the Fortune 500 companies. Similar list I saw in 2019, and only 13% companies could survive. Rest were out of that list, So there is nothing like permanence in business, that. There is always risk, that. The second thing which I find something very interesting, that who imagined business word is not a business word, it's a word of war, that. It's a word of war. It's like a rule of jungle, where every morning lion practices to run faster than the deer, because if lion doesn't run faster than the deer, lion will die of hunger. Similarly, deer also prepares every day to run faster than the lion, because the deer knows if I don't run faster than the lion, I will be killed, that. So this is the business word. I call it word of war, that. And this word of war, I would like to say one thing more about. It's a David and Goliath, that. Many great players have been killed by smaller players, that. That's kind of word we are going to experience, that. Not
going forward, smaller players may reinvent because they are more nimble.
So coming back to India, let's try to find out India, where India is. And I'm talking about Prime Minister's dream, 5 trillion economy. The required rate to grow is about 8.5% minimum, that. But where is India? I don't sound slightly critical, but where is India? In terms of competitiveness, the ranking of India is 68 out of 140 nations. In terms of innovation, we are ranked as 76. In terms of innovation, we are ranked as 76. Can you believe that our export earning of GDP is only 2.5%? When we compare with China, when we compare with Germany and other places, 67% to 70%. Where we stand. So to actualize the Prime Minister's dream, what kind of leadership we require? So I would be coming straight away about that. So I would be coming something first of all about the competencies, that. Some competencies, and the first competency is enfolding the future into present.
Enfolding the future into present.
Into present, That's very important. Those who think of tomorrow, they make the today as well as tomorrow both. But those who think of yesterday, they spoil the today as well as tomorrow both. So that's why enfolding the future into the present. The second thing is very, very important. I think great leaders, they look beyond, they look around, and they look within. It's a time where we should look beyond, look around, and look within. And I'm reminded of Chao dynasty, who ruled the country for about 45 years. His last sentence to his teacher was, I can see this, I can hear the sound of unborn child. I can also hear the sound of sun rays warming the petals of roses. So those
it is to see opportunities where others are not seeing opportunities.
Yes. So things which are not obvious to others, the great leaders can see that. The third one, I think that's very, very important. The great leaders, they connect the horizon with the ground reality. They can fly 30,000 feet and they can also effortlessly walk on the ground. So combining thought with the action. And that's what Vivekananda made the statement. Thought without action doesn't have any meaning. And action without thought is a futile exercise, that. So that's why they combine both, that. The great leaders, if you try to see, I wrote a book, that says...
Of course, I'm a good player of getting.
Book, in search of change masters, something very interesting. All the change masters, 7 change masters whom I picked up, they had limitless appetite to grow, to move to the next horizon, to move to the next orbit. Quest for excellence. And I think that if I want to quote something very interesting, how much committed they are, and I would like to quote actually from L&T, when we were writing something about him. So we interviewed his wife, and his wife said that, oh, you are talking about Mr. Nayak. Why don't you go and meet his second wife? So I became very curious to find out who is the second wife. He said, no, you have met actually. I said, who is that second wife? He said, L&T is the second wife. He sleeps with L&T, romances with L&T, dreams L&T, and breathes L&T. That kind of obsession we need. That kind of obsession is very important. And last one, actually.
No problem. Two things for me. I forgot the second thing.
Go ahead, Dr. Singh. Go ahead, Dr. Singh.
And the another one that's very important, who is entrepreneurial path breaker, innovation. I think that questioning, waging war against the past, these are the leaders, that they have seen. Coming back to about their value system, I think that one thing that came very strongly, they must ask a question, what is the purpose of my life? The real problem which I experience, because I have worked at least with about 300 CEOs in this country, right from public and private sector, and I find, when I ask a question, what is the purpose of my life? When you write down 5 sentences when you die, what people will talk about you? They feel very uncomfortable. You are giving me something where I am going to have sleepless nights. I can't sleep because I don't know what is the purpose of my life. And I remember very well, I come from a small town. When my father died, about 5,000 people were around me. When I die, I don't know, I'm not very sure, because there will be 500 people around me. So one is a purpose. And the second thing, that animal thinks of self. Human beings think of self, others, that. यही पशु प्रवृत्ति है कि आप ही चले, वही मनुष्य है कि जो मनुष्य के लिए मरे. Am I helping others? And the last part which I would like to say, I will come back to you. अब हवाएं ही करेंगी रोशनी का फैसला. कोरोना करेगा रोशनी का फैसला. अब हवाएं ही करेंगी रोशनी का फैसला. और अब वही दीपक जलेगा जान जिसमें जो होगा. Can we bring John in our deepak? For coming to this question, I would like to also spend few minutes, about the previous question. Number one, what is the credibility of the leader? The credibility is the most important factor. If my credibility is very high, and if I ask someone to do something, he will say, whatever he is saying, there must be some meaning in that. That's why we say that Mahajano Jenagata Shapantha. People try to follow the great people in life. Gandhi never had this kind of problem. Martin Luther never had this kind of problem. Nelson Mandela had never this kind of problem. So credibility is very important. And for the credibility, Anurag ji, the leadership बहुत लफड़े वाला मामला है. Because you are giving examination every day. And I remember very well, when I joined actually MDI, and I went to
I was a student. I was in the second year of the business.
And I went to see the flat. And next day my registrar came and said, congratulations, sir, that you are buying a farmhouse. For seeing a flat, it was communicated. So whatever you do, Wherever you go, with whom you talk, everything is watched.
Gets amplified. It gets exaggerated. It gets
Everyone knows
amplified.
about that. Everyone knows about that. So that's why your credibility is very important. Are you moving with your followers? Because followers, they make you a stronger leader. And even in the politics also, those who have got the larger followings, he is a better leader. So that's why your credibility is very important. And to credibility, I would like to say, quote something from Gita. Even Lord Krishna had to give the examination to motivate Arjuna to fight war. Because he never wanted to fight war. And then he said something very interesting. That Kiritam Gadinnam Chakrahastam, Ichhami Tuam Dashtumham Tathaiva, and Tenaiva Rupena Chaturbhujena Sahasrabhava Bhava Vishwabhakti. Show me the Virat Rupa, whatever you are saying, I will follow. Even Lord Krishna had to give the examination to Gita. Are we prepared to give the examination? Are we operating on the power? Or are we operating on the role in that? And one more point which I would like to say, something very interesting. We must know with whom we are dealing with. That's why I always say, amantram akshara nasti. There is not even a single alphabet who doesn't have the power of mantra. So, amantram akshara nasti. Nasti mula manosadham. There is not even a single plant which doesn't have medicinal value. Ayogyo purusah nasti. There is not even a single human being who is incompetent human being. The problem is that you ask a rabbit to fly, a rabbit becomes incompetent. And you ask a bird to run, and bird becomes incompetent. So your judgment about the people, your empathy about the people, your understanding about the people, that, and you find that even among the children, 3 children are different, you know that. So human beings are, we must understand human beings are born and they are different human beings. So one technique which can work actually with X can never work with Y, you know that. And that's what actually I experienced for about 19 years as the CEO. That, and in the academic world, academicians are taught to defy the order. In the corporate world, in the government, at least the defiance word is not there. But
And the forces too.
In the academic world, we are taught to be anti-authoritarian and defy what leader says. I think that, am I with them? And that's why someone asked it to Gandhi. And Gandhi's reply was, don't ask me to walk ahead because you may not follow me. Don't ask me to follow you because I may be a reluctant follower. Ask me to walk with you and I can easily do. Walking with people is important. Getting out from authority is important. And I would like to tell you something very interesting. Pythagoras, he went to Egypt and he wanted to join a mystic school. And the rule was that, first of all, you have to go through some exercise for about 40 days. And Pythagoras met the principal and he said, look, I have come here for knowledge. I haven't come here for such kind of things. He said, no, our rule is that you have to go for 40 days. He said, okay, I followed. So he followed. And on the 40th day, Pythagoras went and he said something very interesting. I came here with my head. Today I am going with my heart. So those who are the great leaders, they are capable of having a very powerful symbiosis of head and heart.
Heart and mind.
Heart and mind. Because people don't listen to your mind, people listen to your heart. How authentic you are, how genuine you are, how compassionate you are. These things are very important. One couplet which I wrote, quite long back, because once upon a time I wish actually I could have been a poet. So I wrote something very interesting. मेरी जिंदगी एक ऐसा सफर है, मेरी जिंदगी एक ऐसा सफर है, जब मंजिल पर पहुंचा तो मंजिल बढ़ा दी. When I reached my destination, I shifted my goalpost, reached performance. I think that if you talk about the future, the present word I define as a VUCA word.
Volatile, uncertain.
Complexities and ambiguities. This word is going to be much more like that. I think that this word is going to be much more like that because the word is going to be flat. There will be much more competition. And I think if we have to survive if we have to excel, if we have to win, first of all, we must define the globe as a market. We don't define India as a market. When I was the chairman of the Defense Acquisition and Procurement Committee, somebody asked a question to me, because at that time, our Prime Minister was saying, make in India for India. I said, no, make in India for the globe. Unless we make the India for the globe, I don't think the sun would be rising from the east, and that too from India. So this will continue. Coming back to your purpose part, I would like to say one thing, because I am a great proponent of that. Why there is a crisis of leadership? Because the Western world has defined leadership more in terms of behavior. And you talk to change the behavior, change the behavior. So you read any book actually by the Western world, they talk about change behavior. Behavior can never change unless we change the attitude. Attitude can never change unless we change our beliefs and values. Beliefs and values can never change unless we change the philosophy of life. So that's why you must ask a question, what is the philosophy of life? And I can define philosophy of life in terms of three. One philosophy of life is we are equal to our contribution. We become great by great contribution. We become small by small contribution. So life should be the life of contribution. This is algebra, this is the physics, this is chemistry of life, that you are equal to your contribution. And that's why we say, खुदी को कर बुलंद इतना, क्या तदबीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से पूछे, बताते री रजा क्या. And the Gita also see, karmaneva adhikaraste ma phalis kudachana. Life is karma. And that's why first sloka of Gita is fascinating sloka. Dharma kshetre, kurukshetre, samveta yutsva, mamka pandvashchaiva kim kurvata sanjay. Life is karma kshetra, life is dharma kshetra. Karma without dharma doesn't have any meaning, and dharma without karma doesn't have any meaning. Those who integrate dharma and karma, they emerge as a great leader. I think the word, I was very lucky that I read the book about Lincoln. And Lincoln said something very interesting. Without the mercy of God, I can't achieve anything. With His mercy, achieving everything is possible.
So have faith in God.
Do we have spirituality? Spirituality not as a religion, but spirituality in terms of faith in God. And that's why when I see Gandhi, when he was thrown out from the compartment in Johannesburg around 12 o'clock in the night, cold night, and Gandhi did not think. Gandhi communicated this noise heart. What should I do? And that's why the whole thing began. Began because he could hear the sound of his heart. Same thing if you try to see Nelson Mandela. For 27 years, he could survive in a particular room because of two lines. I am the master of my destiny and the captain of my soul.
Invictus.
I think that's why the KM committee, which has been appointed by the Prime Minister, I am recommending everyone to have a one course in human values and ethics, irrespective of discipline, whether he would be in science, technology, and everywhere. And I think that we are going to recommend that course. And that course is going to be a very compulsory course. Because unless we understand that, it's very difficult to understand. Because leadership is nothing, it's dealing with the human beings. And last point I would like to say about Gandhi. Someone asked a question to Gandhi. There is a followership concept, that I always talk about. Leadership is a followership concept. Leadership is a servant leadership concept. Leadership is a shepherd leadership concept. Somebody asked a question to Gandhi, Bapuji, what prompted you to become a naked fakir? You come from very affluent family, all along educated in London. And I think that what prompted you? Gandhi replies, fantastic reply. This country never heard the language of kings and emperors. This country never heard the language of kings and emperors. This country always heard the language of naked fakirs and saints. Gandhi followed Indians and Indians followed Gandhi. So that's why all the leaders, they must ask a question, are they following their followers? The crisis of leadership is a crisis of constituency management.